Hello once again everyone, time for another chapter of this special little quest. I'm on here to play all these games, and it's time to keep going through the end of, or rather, mostly October 1997, which has a big jumble of games. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good, and there's another not so good one for you. I gotta tell you, I pretty much know going into this, I have to put this on the easiest difficulty possible, but it's gonna be normal. A bunch of hard ones, but there's only one easier one. And control-wise, there's also... I'll tell you one thing about this game. They got controls kind of... like, the button layout is okay. They do top 3 buttons for punches, bottom 3 buttons for kicks. And it is one of those games where you kind of back away from your opponent to block. But yeah, there's another fighting game which I'm already terrible at, and it's not a great one. Of course, the first thing that you notice is that much like Midway, they decided to keep a timer. This isn't even an arcade game, but of course there's a timer on the character select screen, so I can't really show you all the characters too much before I go and start playing. But I am going to go with pretty much my favorite character from my little bit of experience that I have with the series, which is of course Ichabod Clay. So these characters are mostly pretty cringeworthy, and I'll say 2 things starting out with this game. First of all, I'm gonna try as much as I can. I'm probably not gonna be able to keep 100% from talking about it, but I'm gonna try to not really talk about Sculptor's Cut. This is a game that I'm going to actually have to play twice, because there's the Sculptor's Cut version coming up in 1998, which is actually really early for the regular game. So I'm gonna try and keep my opinions on that for later. The other thing about this, though, is this is basically going to lay out my opinion for you on the ClayFighter series as a whole, which, of course, 63 and the third would be the last one that actually got finished and released. There was actually talks about it, apparently, a couple years ago, to make another entry called Hall of Putty, but that basically completely scrapped and hasn't been heard from since about 2010. But there's 3 games in this series. There's the first one, which came out on Super Nintendo and Genesis, and of course that one actually got a special Blockbuster edition as well, but that one's not so rare, because it's ClayFighter Tournament Edition for Super Nintendo. And then there was another game that wasn't on the Genesis, just on Super Nintendo, called C2 Judgment Clay. Ha ha ha, very funny. And then, really early on, they started talking about this game for the Ultra 64, before it was changed to Nintendo 64, and it was also going to be on the PlayStation. Actually, I think I heard it was supposed to be on the 3DO first. I don't know why people would go, yes, exclusively 3DO. Interplay doesn't seem like that kind of company that would go just to that. But it got moved from 3DO to possibly 3DO and N64 PlayStation, and then just the N64. The first 2 games, which came out in C2, of course, came out in '94 because Terminator 2 jokes. Wait, what year did Terminator 2 come out? Anyway, I think it came out in '94. And at the time, the big fad was to be a Mortal Kombat ripoff or a Street Fighter ripoff for both. And despite the fact that they're not very good games, they're not. The first 2 aren't the worst, especially not for that time with how many bad Mortal Kombat ripoffs are coming out. So they're not the worst, they're not great either, but they had the element of parody that they brought was kind of refreshing, and they had the reason for it to come out in 1992, 1994-ish. They had a real reason to exist. even if it wasn't about the game. This game comes out in 1997. Even though it was talked about for a year and a half, 2 years before that, its opportunity had passed. There is no reason for there to have been a third ClayFighter game, especially not for the Nintendo 64, which early on had a ton of fighting games, but the joke had run out, basically. That's why. By 1997, this joke wasn't funny anymore. And fast forward 20 years, of course, we are almost 20 years after this game was originally released in October 1997. And as you can see right now, I'm fighting Kung Pao. The jokes have not aged well at all. This game is actually a little bit uncomfortable to play. There are multiple characters in this game that are just upsetting, and I think there's actually 1 or 2 more that come up in Sculptor's Cut, but there's two that I know right away that are the most, and which are Kung Pao, who's a generic Asian man stereotypes. He does 2 things. He knows Kung Fu, and he cooks Asian food, and he yells out the names of Asian dishes when he fights, such as Ufu Platter. And I remember this when I was a kid and I played Sculptor's Cut. When I was a kid, he would yell, "No MSG." Yikes. And then there's, of course, the other character in this version specifically, called Hangan, who is a voodoo Papa Shango. Fuck. God, why? Just no. And like I gotta say, like in 1997, that wouldn't have been the most taboo thing to do. I don't think at any point that these games existed. They were really very edgy. They were just goofy, weird parodies like that Interplay would put out. Because Interplay, remember, also put out Boogerman, who's in the... He might be in this version, he's not unlockable, but he's in the Sculptor's version. And Earthworm Jim is unlockable from the start in this game. Or playable from the start in this game. So it very much fit Interplay's vibe, but Interplay needed to grow up faster than they really did. You know, not putting fucking Asian and Caribbean Islander type stereotypes in a fucking fighting game. Because it's just not funny. I don't know if it was funny in 1997, but it's not funny now. It's just a little bit uncomfortable. And that's why I like, you know, I like Ichabod Clay. Because he's not offensive. He's a good-natured, poking fun at, you know, Halloween tropes. Their mascot, Bad Mr. Frosty, isn't that bad. There's another winter-themed character, he might be unlockable in this game, because I know he was mentioned in some of the backstory vignettes that I was looking at in Turtles. There's a character called Sumo Santa, which is like just one of the lamest. It's not like directly offensive to anybody, but it's just lame. It's just, hey, look, a lame combo or a lame game. Like that's another thing if you notice. This game has these. I don't know how many you can pull off at this point, but the combos where Killer Instinct would call out brutal combo and, you know, make a big deal about combos and put funny names on, not funny names, but put edgy titles on different combos. But if you have an itty-bitty combo, if you do however many hits that was, 4 or 5, it's a lame combo. And then there are, I think, 11 hits. I was playing a match earlier just to get my bearings in this game. T-Hoppy, who's another not offensive, but not comfortable character, based with like Australian stereotypes, and he's a kangaroo, and he's a mecha, and it's bullshit. He ended up, the weird way that they implement combos is not very clear and things like all. But they're clearly trying to be, is you would get an 11 hit combo, I think it was, a triple brown Deddy combo. not funny. It's I know it's supposed to be funny, right? That's why they would put it there. It's not that funny. So that was my third victory. I've had 3 victories so far, and now a mirror match. And I will say this. It's not as bad as the other fighting games that I played from the 1997 calendar year. It's not as bad as Dark Raiders. It's not as bad as War Gods. But at the same time, look at it. It feels kind of dated. This feels like a Super Nintendo game, actually, which is a little bit of a shame. Mischief Makers did not feel like a Super Nintendo game. Like, it went a little bit above what you could do on Super Nintendo. There were a lot of 3D effects that were mixed in to the 2D sprites and all that type of gameplay. This legitimately looks like it should have been on the Super Nintendo, which is another real fucking flaw in this game, honestly. It's another thing that really proves to me that this game was dated when it came. And it really sucks that, like, if you had played the shit out of Killer Instinct Gold, which is after 5 years, 5 years of the N64's lifespan, Killer Instinct Gold was pretty much the best fighting game on the system, which is not. It's not really something to be proud of when if I personally put Killer Instinct Gold up against a lot of the fighting games on the PS1. It gets its ass kicked. I think I like Killer Instinct Gold. I like Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo, but I don't think they've really held up the way that the PS1 games really have. All those Capcom fighters that came out, and if you put this up against a game that came out a year before, or even against Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which it wasn't Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I can't stand the N64 version of it, but in and of itself, it's not that bad. It just upsets me because the PS1 version is just miles better, and it didn't have to be. Thanks for practicing, because I'm playing on fucking the easy mode. Great. So I don't get an ending. Yeah. That's not funny. That's not funny, right? Lockjaw, I know Lockjaw is in Sculptor's Cut. I didn't realize how many more characters, or how many less characters were in the original version of ClayFighter than were in Sculptor's Cut, because I've seen the character select scenes for Sculptor's Cut, and there's like twice as many. Including one of them is Lockjaw, that poor dog right there that they joked that he got murdered in the making of the game. And goddamn, that's not funny. That's not funny in 1997. That's not funny in 1987. That's just not funny. Let's check out some of the other characters. I don't know which 3 of them are unlockable. I think Sumo Santa is unlockable. I think Boogerman might be one of the unlockables in this one, but I can't say for sure. Let's go with pretty much the most offensive character in this game, which is surprisingly not Kung Pao, but it's Houngan. And oh, look at what he's carrying: a rubber chicken and a staff with a skull on it. That's fucking hilarious. He's wearing a little top hat. Basically I'm just gonna do like, oh, fuck you! That's so clever. It sucks I'd rather be playing... I was gonna say I'd rather be playing War Gods, but that's not too bad. At least this gameplay isn't atrocious. I haven't figured out how to do any of the specials that are filled up in that blue bar, though, as you can tell. I'm not just saving them for yeah, one of those moves. I actually don't know how to do those actually. Little girly combo! Little girly combo. game stood by itself, it would be pretty average. Once you throw in all the lame jokes, it becomes below average because you'd rather be playing something different.
Combo.
It really is such a shame. Wow, that's offensive.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Oh, he bites people because he's a cannibal. I think that's the joke.
Dumb combo.
7 hits is dumb.
Bash. Bash.
That's a good one.
Clock you.
Thinking ahead to one of the fighting games, there are a couple that I actually look forward to. I really look forward to playing Flying Dragon because I like that game. I've always played that. Fighter's Destiny. I tried to play when I was a kid. I didn't really into it, but I've heard good things about it. I really appreciate it. There are decent fighting games, but when you think about it, you put them up against every game, every fighting game like the one that was good. RPGs and fighting games, they're just not there. They need to change. But at least with RPGs, which unfortunately is going to be really with the ones, at least RPGs, the ones that are there, are good. But fighting games, there's a lot of games. Only 2 or 3 of them are good. The rest of them are either mediocre or just unplayable. Unfortunately, I've played, well, fortunately or unfortunately, I'm through 2 of the really unplayable ones. There is another one coming up in 2 or 3 different games coming up called Mace the Dark Age, which I actually do appreciate that game. I think it's pretty good. Again, when you put it up against a PS1 fighting game that's really good, it gets absolutely slaughtered, but it's not the worst. I am looking forward to that one a little bit. Let's just Bad Mr. Frosty. We haven't seen Bonker yet. We haven't seen Bonker, T-Hoppy, or Earthworm Jim. Let's do one fight at Earthworm Jim. And then I'll see what I can do on my own as a playing on the regular difficulty. If I can finish the game with somebody and say that I beat it, that'll be good enough for me. Because don't forget, I do have to play this game again in a little while when I play Shuffle Cutter. And that's, when you think about it, it's a free version, but it's not worth it. You know what? If you really, I really think that Earthworm Jim might be the saving grace of this game, because people love Earthworm Jim, and even like 3D hadn't come out to ruin him yet. So I think they sold, they tried to sell it on the box that Earthworm Jim was in, and that makes total sense to me, because not only is Earthworm Jim something you can't sell a game on at this point, especially when maybe 2 years at this point. And not necessarily. I don't know when Earthworm Jim came out, but I don't know if they were talking about it yet. But he is a character that, if you're looking at him right now, he really has a good moveset. Like, I like the way that they designed him into this game. He doesn't just get thrown in there. I think it's pretty cool. I like, using the ray gun. I like how he's all elastic and shit like that. It's like a good fighting character. As much as I like to use it to Dickybot play, because I always have, I think going forward I might try to use Earthworm Jim, just to not just bad taste in my mouth all the time. And also try and figure out how to do it. That's probably one of the most annoying things in this game, is when someone executes a combo on you like that, and it goes into this, like, this slow-mo. And unlike Killer Instinct, which is, you know, the whole thing that they base their weird combo system on, you can't just, like, break it, you kind of just have to sit there. It's one of those things that really breaks up the... Whatever there might be for flow, that right there just kind of ruins it. Because you just have to sit there and wait for the move to be over. You can't really do it. So... There we go. So that's it. That's a bit of ClayFighter. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. Supposed to do a Claytalities, but is it Claytalities? I don't have any chance of knowing that. Cool. So that's about it for today. I'm glad I kind of got a lot of my opinions out about ClayFighter, because I do have a lot of opinions on it. As someone who has collected the whole set and everything, I have to have a lot of opinions about ClayFighter, even though I'm not playing that version of it right now. But yeah, this was not a bad video. I was able to, you know, actually play a game instead of just get mad at how bad it really is. So that was pretty cool. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one, and then as I continue to do October 1997. There's a lot of games in there. I will be back pretty soon. Thank you, and see you later.